When I met playwright Meg Moroshnik a couple weeks ago, she had just begun rehearsing her new play, The Tall Girls.
Each day, new pages are photocopied onto a different color paper. There are very, very few white pages left.
Yes? Yes!
The Tall Girls is one of a trio of plays being developed in the debut season of the La Jolla Playhouse's DNA New Work series. Because the works receive a bare-bones production, it allows for and even encourages the creative evolution of a play, says Christopher Ashley.
Because it was script in hand, we did massive rewrites every minute.
Hang with us, ride the Bronco that is the rewrite.
Ashley is the Playhouse's artistic director, and he directed Chasing the Song for DNA.
We encourage authors to make the big change, make the big discovery, and not to be afraid to use every minute of it to perfect their play.
Moroshnik has been conquering her fears as she hones The Tall Girls to perfection.
We've been trying to chip away at the excess and try to tell a more essential story.
You want that basketball out? Take her home.
The story of The Tall Girls was inspired by a photograph Moroshnik found of her grandfather from 1934.
He's 26 years old and coaching a high school girls basketball team in rural Minnesota, and it's a really striking image. He's standing in a suit surrounded by teenage girls in these starched white uniforms.
DNA provided Moroshnik with a basketball coach to work with her cast. That was a first, says the Playhouse's literary director, Gabriel Green.
They would take an hour every day out of rehearsal and do passing drills and shooting drills, and I think it also helped the male actor in the play because he is their coach, and I think it helped him understand what it is to be a coach and how to nurture and still be hard enough to get results.
There have been some great discoveries with the basketball itself and making the basketball as convincing and recognizable as possible.
When I woke up, she was holding my head down to the mattress, trying to wash my face. That's a foul, Al.
We've added higher stakes moments where it's important for actors to make baskets.
DNA is more than just a workshop. It provides the final element in a play's development, the audience.
There are certain things you can only learn when an audience is present in the room.
Green culls through about 500 plays a year for the Playhouse. For DNA, he's looking for plays that show promise, but could still benefit from further development.
And the audience does play a role in that. We will be holding post-show talkbacks every night.
Well, I guess I'm surprised at sort of how much hunger there is to see a developmental process like this.
The great thing is, the plays don't have to be done. They can be evolving. Moroshnik calls the process an intelligence-gathering mission. That helped alleviate some of her fears when she watched the play with its first audience.
I feel very uncomfortable sitting next to audience members because I feel like the way that I watch the play will probably distract from their enjoyment.
So what are she and Ashley watching for?
You know, there was a dead spot, right? So for the second performance, we cut about 4 minutes out of it, and that was really useful. I was really excited by how much the score ignited the audience. Like that was really satisfying watching an audience start by tapping and then get more and more involved.
One of the most exciting things that's come out of it is almost every night there's been a fairly lively debate over whether one of the characters is good or bad, and the audience kind of seems to fall out half and half, which is really exciting to me. That's sort of the intention, so that was wonderful to have that affirmed.
For Moroshnik, The Tall Girls is a sad story about how women's basketball disappeared for decades. She was anxious to see if that story would engage audiences. She was pleased by the response.
I love, like, a couple of performances, some audience members have been talking back to it a little bit, you know, so I hear these, you know, when secrets are revealed, I've heard a couple of gasps and, you know, oh no, which is fun that they're that engaged.
Next up in the DNA series is Aditi Brennan Kapil's Brahmani. Green says Brahmani is the first play in a planned trilogy that Kapil is writing about the trinity of Hindu deities.
Brahman is the creator god, and to explore this idea of creation and how we create the sense of self, Aditi has chosen to write this play that is disguised as a stand-up comedy routine.
So what does Christopher Ashley think of DNA's inaugural season?
It's a tool, it's a platform, it's a passionate 6-week explosion of new work that's exactly what the Playhouse needs.
Marashnik calls the DNA program a gift to playwrights.
I don't feel any limitations on my imagination for the play, which is really, really exciting.
DNA provides an exciting peek behind the curtain of the creative process in action.
The question is, who's the man with the brand new basketball?
Beth Accomando, KPBS News.